What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Selkirk University, your home for product education, comparisons, tips, really just all things Selkirk. In today's video, I'm going to do a little comparison video for you, comparing the newly released SLK ERA Power to some other paddles in the Selkirk lineup. So first, let's talk about the SLK Halo, as this is another SLK paddle. Now, out of all the SLK paddles, it probably compares to this one the most. I actually played with the SLK Halo Power when it first came out because it was a really great paddle for the price point, and I think it has really good pop. However, in playing with this paddle, I noticed that it was a little harder to control the ball when I was trying to reset the ball or even drop the ball, and it seemed like the sweet spot wasn't as good as some of the other options I had tried. And that's partially because this paddle has a much lower twist weight. So the twist weight, remember, is the rotation along that center access point. And when you have a lower twist weight, it does help for things like flicking the ball or creating spin if you're very brushy with your stroke. However, you can kind of mishit the ball off center due to that lower twist weight, and it makes the sweet spot just feel smaller. But the SLK ERA Power really does have that great power feel, but because it has a little higher twist weight, and honestly, just because it has a lot better technology, I found that the sweet spot on this paddle just felt much bigger. Also, I got a little bit more dwell time on this paddle versus the SLK Halo, as the ball really seemed to kind of sink into the face, which a lot of people like because it can really help control the ball and take pace off of the ball when needed. Another paddle that we could compare this to would be the Project 007 if we were going to pick a paddle from the Labs lineup. Now, to be honest, these paddles play very different. The only real similarity is that they're both power paddles. But if you've played with the Project 007 or the Power Air, the type of power that you get is really generated from a lot of swing speed and pop. And you don't really feel the ball sink into the face the same way that you do with the SLK ERA Power. Again, similar to the SLK Halo, there's a lower twist weight on this one. So you generate spin a lot more by brushing the ball. And the spin on the SLK ERA is much more generated based off of the dwell time. So if you are switching from a paddle that's maybe a little bit lighter in terms of swing weight or twist weight, I would recommend when you switch to the SLK ERA, you want to kind of hold the ball on the paddle and get through your shots a little bit more to create spin with dwell versus that brushy motion. And many of you know we recently released the Luxe Control Air with Infinigrit, kind of our upgraded version of one of our best-selling paddles. And people love the Luxe because it's very plush, it's very stable. And I think these paddles have that in common, that they're very stable and that there is kind of this element where the ball sinks into the face a little bit. However, if I were to actually pick a paddle that this compares to most in the Selkirk Sport line, it might be the Vanguard Pro. I don't know if you remember the Vanguard Pro, but that's a hybrid paddle. I don't have it sitting here with me today, but that paddle has a lot of dwell time. But the big difference is the ERA is just a lot more powerful than the Vanguard Pro. I found that when I played with the Vanguard Pro, I liked it in the soft game, but I really lacked a little bit of that put away power that I wanted, or even returning the ball when I'm given pace to be able to respond to the pace that's given to me. It's much more effortless and easy, in my opinion, with the ERA than it was with the Pro. However, the Pro can be a great option for people that maybe want a little bit more control and sacrifice a little bit of power that they get with this. So that's just a quick overview comparison, comparing the SLK ERA Power to some other paddles in our lineup. If there's any other questions you have about this paddle or comparing it to other paddles that you've tried, let me know in the comments below and I'll be sure to do my best to answer those for you. See you on the next one.